Hegseth estimates Iran war has cost $37.5 billion. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced yesterday that the Pentagon's latest estimate for the cost of the war in Iran is $37.5 billion, a $12 billion bump from the $25 billion he told lawmakers in late April, when President Trump was negotiating a temporary ceasefire with Iran. That figure has come at a time when the Trump administration is requesting up to $70 billion in emergency military spending to cover the war's costs and fund new weapons and personnel. The emergency request is mostly focused on expanding production lines and accelerating delivery of high-demand munitions. According to Hegseth, the Pentagon is asking for $46 billion to produce precision bombs, hypersonic missiles, and counter-drone systems. This is a new request based on new realities of the world we face, stepping up to meet that moment, he told the Senate Appropriations Committee. Senate Democrats and some Republicans have questioned whether billions of dollars of war funding are truly necessary, especially on top of the roughly $1.5 trillion the Department of Defense is asking for in the upcoming defense budget. Senator Patty Murray, the top Democrat on the committee, called the request a possible attempt to skirt the normal appropriations process. She said, "The problem is not a lack of money, but poor planning." Hegseth blamed the Biden administration for the size of the emergency request. He pointed to what he described as gross negligence and neglect in the Pentagon under Biden, arguing that the war has changed rapidly because of inexpensive, plentiful drones and other technology. He said modernizing the military should normally happen through the regular budget, not through supplemental emergency requests. The broader context is that President Trump declared on July 8 that the ceasefire was over and hostilities resumed. The latest incident was an Iranian attack on a base in Jordan that killed 2 U.S. soldiers and left a third missing. According to Iranian authorities, at least 50 people in Iran have been killed in U.S. strikes since the truce ended. As the Department of Defense works to modernize, the emergency request represents an attempt to address what the administration believes is an urgent need for newer weapons systems. But lawmakers are wary that the request might be a way to get extra money for programs that would otherwise be funded registro. Those of us listening to the news must remember the debate centers on whether the money should be earmarked for immediate war expenses or for long-term modernization that policymakers should have factored into the regular budget. The question is how much of the $70 billion request is truly emergency spending versus a widening of the defense budget. In closing, the Pentagon's estimate of $37.5 billion for the Iran war has sprung the debate wide open. It forces us to look at how defense spending is planned, how emergencies are handled, and whether the administration's claims of new realities justify the step up in funding. That's all for today. Thank you for listening.